All right. So for you today, we have prepared a special topic, Reach Your AI's Minds, powered by Origin Trail Decentralized Knowledge Graph. My name is Giga Dreu. I'm one of the co-founders at Origin Trail. It's a project that's been up and running since 2013. And as of 4 or 5 years ago, when we joined the ecosystem, pretty much Origin Trail has been found guilty of generating nearly half of transactions in Polkadot ecosystem. So that is one interesting fact. By the end of the last year, Origin Trail, with its own parachain, has been pretty banging on the on the Origin Trail infrastructure. So sorry for that. We have kind of pushed the limits of what the Polkadot is capable of. So without further ado, let me jump into this bold gentleman's very interesting statement. Jeff Bezos, he basically stated that one should not focus on things that are going to change because change is the only constant, and we can all chase the exciting new technologies. And AI agents are admittedly very exciting and new technology. However, from our standpoint, we're not chasing AI and we're not chasing the technology in itself. It is not our end goal. What we're rather chasing are the problems, are the opportunities in the world. So basically, what never changes and what will likely not change in 10 years is what we're focusing on. So perhaps before I continue, who here has ever tried the AI agent or any kind of AI? Most likely everybody. Everybody. Okay. So do you trust AI? How much do you trust AI on a scale from 1 to 10? 6. Okay. So which model do you trust more? DeepSeek or ChatGPT? No, Grok. Grok. Okay, Grok. That was very powerful. Is it because it just got launched? Because of Elon. Okay, so you trust Elon. Good. All right. Interesting reply. Yeah. So we believe actually that the light is the best disinfectant in many ways, and humans are really not here to tell all the truth there is. So this is why technology is here to help. So what we're focusing on is not that much technology, but rather problems that do not change. And what Origin Trail is basically doing, it is bringing transparency to different business scenarios, to supply chains, to transportation, and so on. And I'm also going to cover some of those examples. Perhaps another question: who here has heard about some real-world application of decentralized technology? And what would that be? What's the most popular real-world application of blockchain? Money transfer. Stablecoins. Interesting. More? Logistics. Okay. But is it, you hear oftentimes that pure Web3 technology is being used for logistics, or is it, an echo in your head from, 5 years ago when IBM tried to do something? Mostly enterprise, right? Mostly permissioned Hyperledger stuff. All right. So we're actually building a fully permissionless and open decentralized knowledge graph, which anyone can use and can also set up a node. So basically, permissionless knowledge sharing is also powering enterprise scenarios. So one such example is a group of US retailers which are exchanging audit reports on some 30,000 factories. And they're using Origin Trail to exchange audit reports so that they can improve safety of US imports. So basically, the solution called Scan Trusted Factory is responsible for driving security of audits for over 20% of total imports in terms of the value to the United States. So this is one such example. Going further, we're also driving safety of Swiss Federal Railways. Any people from Switzerland here? Awesome. Kudos. So SBB is safer now because of DKG and also because of Polkadot. Also, European Gymnastics Federation is using Origin Trail based on Polkadot to power international knowledge transfer, meaning that they record all the real-time knowledge they produce about results, about the venues of competition across all European nations, gymnastics associations, And then consumers or retail users, quote unquote, can use the application by going to their website. So you can go to European Gymnastics landing page and you're going to see the AI agent with whom you can interact, powered by Origin Trail on top of Polkadot. Atrust. With Atrust, we have helped make sure that over 30,000 patients in India actually received donated medicines for hemophilia. And what is interesting here is, the thing about the Atrust and opaqueness in donations. Blockchain can actually solve that. You can trace donations. And then there are a plethora of European projects using the DKG, like BuildChain, attempting to drive safety and sustainable construction with BuildChain. There's also another, driving safety in aerospace sector. When you fly with Boeing, when you fly with Airbus, with all the recent happenings in the skies, hopefully not, ultimately on the ground, there's been a huge dilemma as to how to really drive transparency and therefore also safety of the production of planes. There's also a European project that came to be as a response to those issues, including to those issues, and also Origin Trail is being used as a backbone powering that. Then my personal favorite, or perhaps Polkadot's personal favorite, is the Polkabot AI. You can actually go to polkabot.ai and you can interact with this agent called Polkabot AI. You can ask anything about Polkadot ecosystem. Now, the main difference between just using, let's say, ChatGPT or DeepSeek is that Polkabot AI is actually using DKG, so the decentralized knowledge graph, and the knowledge that is being enshrined in it by users. So throughout most of the last year, you would have users, most Polkadot users across Twitter, who would be performing the so-called knowledge mining. So they would go on Twitter and they would prompt a command, paste a link or some crucial information about Polkabot, and then that information would be enshrined in the DKG, and users would be compensated. And last but not least, but also this is not an exhaustive list, as of recently, this is actually my personal favorite. A venture was established in Switzerland with its main mission to combat illicit online content. And we've all seen like a lot of harmful content online, and the goal of Humanitech is also to stop that content. Right now, not much information is yet available, but you can go to the website humanitech.ai or humanitech.com and you can subscribe for more news. All right, so to conclude, not yet. So what is the decentralized knowledge graph? Decentralized knowledge graph is not a blockchain in itself, but it uses a multi-chain trust layer, which also entails Polkadot as one of the key underpinnings in the trust layer. And actually, Polkadot is the most used chain through our own parachain called NeuroWeb, supporting the decentralized knowledge graph. Like I said, we were found guilty of producing over 50% of all the transactions in Polkadot ecosystem. So on this trust layer lies the knowledge base, which is a decentralized knowledge graph, which stores information in highly interconnected fashion. And this format allows for much, much more complex querying and also much, much more powerful way of exchanging information. And on top of it, you can use whatever model you want to use. You can not yet Grok, to be completely frank. So I don't like your response in particular, but you can use the chat GPT, and soon pretty much you'll be able to use a more, let's say, performant DeepSeek. All right, and why is it important to have the technology like decentralized knowledge graph powering AI applications? So you can imagine the world of, let's say, reasoning and intelligence through the brain. And who here believes that is a little bit more rational and fact-based being versus creative? Okay, creatives, raise your hands. There are more of you, I'm sure. So equally, in the world of AI, you would need at least two parts of the brain to be developed in order for AI to be trusted and reliable. You need to have, the creative part of the brain be developed, which is best represented by LLMs, which are probabilistic models, and they can, based on statistical predictions, they can yield certain output, but it is not always reliable. And that's why we also need the factual part of your brain, a little bit more rational part of your brain. We call it a symbolic partner to AI. And this is where decentralized knowledge graph comes in handy. It is more deterministic. It's an old branch of AI, but it's much more straightforward. So when you use AI, try to be mindful and try to ask yourself, is my AI using both parts of the brain or just one part of the brain? Enter AI agents. What is really cool about AI agents is that you can basically inscribe intents into decentralized knowledge graph. And by having inscribing intents, you can drive much more tailored experience for yourself. I'm gonna go into a small example a little bit later. And what you would also like to allow for is for AI agents to update facts as they move along, as new facts are recognized. And again, the decentralized knowledge graph, you can see a form of a knowledge asset here. It's much more complex than, say, a very modest or very primitive database as blockchain is. In essence, blockchain is not a database, but it does have some primitive database features. With the knowledge graph, you can see you can establish connections between entities, and you can basically describe the world you live in a knowledge graph, and then attach any kind of AI model on top of it to drive whatever application you want to. And when you're using AI on top of the DKG, you can always verify the lineage of information, which is crucial, especially for financial applications and so on. You cannot simply rely on the outputs that AI is yielding without really being able to firmly establish the facts. So one cool exercise we did, and I'm gonna jump straight to it after this one, which I already kind of mentioned. I really like Tommy's presentation about the scalability of Polkadot, and the DKG, Decentralized Knowledge Graph by OriginTrail, is a living example of why we need scalability that Polkadot can provide. And according to Messari's report, it was not just Polkadot, but also NeuroWeb, which has produced a lot of transactions from the knowledge assets enshrined by the real users I described before. The decentralized knowledge graph is also live as a plugin, and recently, a couple of weeks ago, was also shipped along with the newest iteration of ELIZA. Those of you who don't know ELIZA, go check them out. And as of tomorrow, you'll be able to also build your application. You can visit us on Consensus Hackathon. Here is Marco, our AI lead, and he's gonna kindly guide you through the implementation of AI based on the DKG. So the cool experiment we did just a couple of hours ago on X shows you how you can prompt an AI agent to conduct a sentiment analysis on any crypto and a stock. And then this sentiment analysis gets enshrined in the DKG, and you're always able to really check which tweets contributed to the overall sentiment analysis of a crypto and a stock. And there were some, I believe, 100 tweets that are being used constantly for the analysis. And you can go on X, prompt ChatDKG, what is the sentiment today for DOT or for NVIDIA or for Track or whichever crypto or a stock. And you can always go back to the source to verify the veracity of the claim of the sentiment analysis. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up here. It doesn't end here, of course. Welcome to join us at Consensus tomorrow. Not just us, but also other splendid Polkadot teams. And wishing you an excellent Hong Kong journey. If you're also jet lagged as much as I am, try to drink Coca-Cola, but not too much. It can really elevate you a little bit too much. And yeah, join us.
Thank you so much, Ziga. Do we have time to get questions?
Oh yeah, sir.
Anyone
Sure.
here who have questions about AI agents to Ziga? All right. Okay. So
I asked too many questions. Now they don't have any questions.
okay, it's okay. Thank you so much. So up next, we are going to have our panel about building on Polkadot but Asia Take. Okay, it's gonna be very interesting. I'd like to welcome on stage Vincent, who will be our moderator for this panel. So Vincent